Hello, friends. Hey, my name is Lee Giovi, and I am doing the Path to Achievement right now, which is an amazing program. I highly recommend that to any of you who may not be doing that. It's incredible. Um, anyway, I was just having a thought about something that I felt inspired to share. I'm going to try to do it kind of quickly, but my thought that I'm having, I feel like it's an insight, and it's around decisions and decision making. Um, Recently, well, I was having an insight, noticing how sometimes I'll just speak for myself. I have developed these negative beliefs and disempowering kind of limiting beliefs through different times of my life, and they stick with me. They have stuck with me. And then I go through the process. Sometimes I discover them or I identify them and I do some work around them. I release some of the energy through different processes or just releasing as a process. Um, and that doesn't mean that they necessarily completely go away and then they're gone forever. Sometimes that's still clinging there, and there's another layer to process, or there can be. Um, and and then also, so what I realized kind of recently was that when they start to come back up, that I can reutilize like that energy of them presenting again to strengthen my new belief. So, for example, if I had a story in my mind that was like I'm not worthy or I'm not enough, and then I do some work around it, I think, cool, I've released some of that, but then it can still pop up later that day or the next day or a year from now or whatever. So when I recognize it, that I could utilize that recognition and kind of that energy that can come up to reinforce the new belief that I want. So I did this Tony Robbins workshop a while ago, and he had this technique where you kind of like say, "Oh, I'm not good enough. Nah, I'm not good enough," and you can just make that sound kind of silly, and it like scrambles in your brain. And then you say, "No, the truth is, I am powerful, and I am the highest form of creation." So you use that moment of recognition to change that and like put power and emotion into it, like that emotive aspect when the conscious thought into the subconscious through emotion. So what I was just thinking about was decisions, and I was noticing that a lot of sometimes I tend to, because like on the Daily Dynamite today was talking about whack-a-mole, and I was thinking about like how my own thoughts can be like a whack-a-mole. Sometimes I'm going after this idea or that thought or that thought, and it's like psh, 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 and I'm like kind of scattered, and it can be chaotic, even from my own thoughts. Even if it's things that I want, it can be like, oh, I want to do that, oh, I want that, oh, I want to do that, and then it can kind of all build up and sometimes get a bit overwhelming for me because I'm engaged now in so many things, and some of the things that I really are more prioritized, like feel more priority to me, I've filled with other things and I feel like obligated or whatever, which is also another decision to be able to release, because I choose what I'm obligated to or not. Anyway, the so what I was thinking about today was that decisions are, I think, kind of like, or for me at least, I'm strengthening my decision making skill, and with the decisions. So I've made some decisions lately, and then I noticed that sometimes it feels more like, okay, but did I really make that decision? If that makes sense. Or I have other things that I'm thinking about I am that I'm also kind of whack-a-moling. Oh, I'm going after that, but that could even counter my other decision that I've been thinking about. And so anyway, what I'm this was sort of the insight, is that even with decisions, I can use when I discover that, like, hey, I've made a decision, I've made the insight, I've made that clear decision. Just because I've made that doesn't mean that the doubt in that decision or the conflicting decisions or my like full dedication and commitment to that decision is always there. So when I notice that the energy is maybe slipped or I question the decision, then I can take that moment and that to reinforce the decision through action. And the action could be like doing an affirmation, or it could be like, hey, I'm going to make this phone call, send that email, something to reinforce it when I notice that my strength in my decision hasn't isn't like coming through and like staying with the follow through. So hopefully that makes sense, and maybe you see the parallel between the two things that I'm talking about with um, kind of like the limiting beliefs, and then using the moments where you recognize that it's being challenged to reinforce the new belief, and then also the decisions, and recognizing when you can re-strengthen your decision. So that's the insight, and have a beautiful day.